with solutions to these challenges with a view to build a society where social equity prevails. Our beloved institution, Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies, has always strived to impart quality education and has always attempted to build one's character and one's intellect. We aim to create a community of leaders who have an unparalleled strength of mind, knowledge, and an indomitable positive energy. To realize this vision, WIPS attempts to impart training by using innovative pedagogies to encapsulate the prescribed curriculum while fostering holistic development of every student here at WIPS.
Let us begin this orientation program by seeking the blessings of the Almighty Lord Ganesha. I now call upon the classical dance troupe of VSLLS to fill your hearts with devotion through their performance of the Ganesh Vandana.
गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि आया देखो आया बप्पा मोरिया
I would like to thank the Cultural Committee of VSLLS and their set of trained classical dancers for this mesmerizing performance.
We shall now seek the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. I now call upon the melodious choir and the instrumentalists of WIPS to perform Saraswati Vandana. I would like to thank the choir and the instrumentalists for their soulful performance.
Professor Dr. R. Venkata Rao is a pillar of quality legal education in India and has previously served as the Vice Chancellor of NLSIU Bangalore for 10 years. Professor Rao has authored and edited several books and published over 100 papers. He has successfully guided many LLM and PhD scholars and has over 4 decades of teaching and research experience. I now request Professor Dr. R. Venkata Rao, Chairperson, VSLLS and VSES WIPS, to give the opening address.
Dr. S.C. Watson, the rising star, the Vice Chairman, Mr. Sunit Vax, Professor Subbarao, Dean Rashmi, Dean Shilpa, distinguished colleagues, esteemed parents, and fellow students. As to why I am addressing you as fellow students, I will tell you later. When I see the bright sunny morning on the occasion of this meeting in the open space, I was telling our chairman, sir, it is wonderful on the part of the organizers to have arranged a meeting in the open space because it sends a clear signal to our little angels, the 21st century hopes of this great country, our first year students, that they should always have their minds open. Young friends, please remember, 3 things work out the best when they are open. As you know, the parachute works out the best when it is open. Books work out the best when they are open. Most of us, we purchase the books, never open it, and keep them as a decorative item for the visitors. The third one is human mind. Human mind works out the best. Therefore, it's a symbolic gesture that our mind should be kept open when we have arranged the meeting in the open space. My grateful thanks to the organizers, sir. Hearty congratulations to all of you for having taken the wisest decision in getting admitted into the stream of education which will ordain you with constitutional responsibilities. And I would say this is the best gift that the months of October and November can give you. As you know, November is a holy month, not because we celebrate Diwali, not because we celebrate Chhat Puja tomorrow, but 3 important events have happened in the month of November. I will start with 26th November, which is celebrated on the Constitution Day when the Constitution of India was adopted. Then today, 9th November, is Legal Services Day. Way back in 1995, we had a very important legislation. But apart from these 2, a globe-shattering incident had happened in 1989 on 9th November, which made the world to celebrate this day as World Freedom Day. In 1989, on 9th November, the Berlin Wall collapsed, and the world is commemorating that as the World Freedom Day so that no wall will separate people in future. Therefore, young minds, please remember when we are celebrating World Freedom Day today, you must understand that we are here to demolish the walls and build bridges. Bridges of friendship, bridges of fraternity, bridges of oneness, so that ultimately speaking we have the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbikam. And before I speak to you about the orientation, let me first bow down my head in reverence before your parents, whose sacrifices are primarily responsible for keeping you here this morning. In fact, you should remember the contribution of three mothers in your life. You should never forget. First is the biological mother who has given birth to you. Rabindranath Tagore said, God created mother maybe because he cannot be present everywhere. If biological mother has given birth to us, our foster mother, alma mater, Vivekananda School of Law and Legal Studies, Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies, would enable us to stand on our feet. And from today onwards, the world will recognize you by your status as a student of WIPS, as a student of VSL and LS. And therefore, we should never let down the second mother, alma mater or foster mother. The third mother, you have the national flag fluttering high there. What do you mean by Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav we are celebrating this year? Jawaharlal Nehru long ago said, who cares whether you live or die if India dies? Who dies if India lives, and who lives if India dies? Therefore, these three mothers, you should never let them down. Biological mother who has given you the birth, alma mater, which would enable you to stand on your feet, and Mother India, especially as lawyers in the making. Remember, you must understand that it was lawyers who provided the intellectual front arm to the freedom movement. And more than 2/3 of the members of the Constituent Assembly were lawyers. And now I will tell you as to why I have addressed you as fellow students. Now, I call you as fellow students, don't accuse me of originality. I have borrowed that phrase from the greatest lawyer that this country has produced, Nani Palkhiwala. Most of you must have heard his name. And Nani Palkhiwala was the person who argued the case in Keswananda Bharati's case, which ultimately gave us the basic structure doctrine. And he argued so brilliantly in the Supreme Court. When the arguments were going on, two Supreme Court judges off the cuff, they said, how tragic it is, how unfortunate it is that only the judgments of the Supreme Court are recorded and published, but not the brilliant arguments of the advocates. How much the younger generation is missing by not recording the arguments of the brilliant advocates. We only look forward to the day when arguments of advocates like Palkhiwala will be recorded and preserved for posterity. And that Palkhiwala, immediately after Keswananda Bharati's case, was invited to address Ferguson College students in Pune. Pune is his native place. And to the same function, three Supreme Court judges before whom he argued in Keswananda Bharati's were also invited. And Palkhiwala addressed their lordships, and then he said, fellow students. Immediately one of the Supreme Court judges said, Nani, you have argued so brilliantly before us the other day, and today you are calling them fellow students. Are you a student? Then you know what Palkhiwala said? Yes, my lord, I mean what I say. Then beautifully said, you must remember that today, a young person, when he is on the rolls of a law college, when he is on the rolls of a law school, he will be a law student. But when he walks from the law school, from the university to the universe, this law student will become a student of law throughout his life. And learning is a process which must start in the womb of your mother and travel beyond your respective tombs, he said. And then he said, my lord, today if I have a matter to argue, you know, Palkhiwala was such a brilliant advocate. Not only was he a brilliant advocate, he was a man of humility. Even when he became a top advocate, he never felt infra-dig to argue before the trial court. At the ripe old age of 80, he used to argue in municipal magistrates' courts and the sessions courts. And because he said there is no distinction between the Supreme Court and the magistrate court, all the courts perform the same function. And he said, my lord, today if I have a matter to argue before a magistrate court, at 10:30 in the morning, my trousers would be trembling like a first-year student of law appearing for the first moot court competition. And the day on which my trousers stop trembling, I will quit my profession, he said. In that sense, I am a fellow student of the young minds, and therefore I have addressed you as fellow students. I have congratulated you because, please remember, legal profession is the only profession to be mentioned in the Constitution of India. No other profession is mentioned in 395 articles and 12 schedules. Therefore, you are now entering a stream of education which will clothe you with the constitutionally ordained responsibilities. That is the reason why on the day of admissions, a copy of the preamble was given to you. I'm sure you must have got it. Now this was given to you so that this would be kept as a constant companion. This must be close to your heart. As our former President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, said, whatever you do in your life hereafter, the Constitution of India must be at the back of your mind and at the center of your heart. Remember. And today take a pledge that the preambular aspirations and the fundamental duties would become a part of your flesh, your bones, your body and your soul. Because no text contains such distilled wisdom as the preamble of the Constitution. Remember, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, I need not tell you, and the 10 commandments of fundamental duties. Therefore, today, remember, it is our pious obligation to exhort you to make Constitution a part of your body and soul. The next point I wanted to tell you is, please remember, legal profession is called a learned profession not because you are required to display learning, it is only incidental, but you are required to show the highest conduct, which is corollary to and consequence of that learning. Therefore, WIPS is one institution which focuses on character building, which focuses on conduct. And in this context, I will tell you, the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, Errol Warren, was once asked a question. Sir, whom would you like to appoint as judges? You know what he replied? He smiled and said, a good human being who also knows a bit of law. He said, we would like to appoint a good human being who also knows a bit of law. This is one institution which unstintingly, remember, works day in and day out to make you good human beings. So that one of the fundamental duties mentioned in the Constitution of India, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of achievement, would be achieved. Here, let me tell you, excellence means it is not only excellence in the product, but excellence in the human being. Because we believe that academic excellence without human excellence is disastrous. And this orientation program is meant to drive home one particular point that, remember, you must have two goals in your life as a student of law. Number one, compassion for whom you do, and passion for what you do. Today is Legal Services Day, remember, where we have an obligation upon us to help the unfortunate and hapless people. Therefore, take a pledge today, on the first day in your law school, that you will devote all your might to help the hapless, so that surroundings around us would be safe and secure. That is the primary objective of the orientation program. And as youngsters, when I was a first year student of law, when I was attending a similar orientation program, I was raising my eyebrows, looking at the mountain to be scaled. Immediately, I still remember the Chief Justice of the High Court of Odisha, Gotakrishna Patra, said, "Young man, any orientation program is arranged to remove the pebbles in your shoes so that you can start climbing. Because it's not the height of the mountain that is worrisome. It's not the height of the mountain that is troublesome. It is the pebble in your shoes. Therefore, remove your pebble in your shoes, start scaling the mountain without looking at the top, and keep Constitution close to your heart. And let me assure you, from the Honorable Chairman, sir, down to the foot soldier at the micro level, no hour would be ungodly for us to help you, because you are the future of the country. And I pray the Almighty to make your sojourn in VIPS fruitful, successful, assuring you of all our guidance, of all our cooperation. Remember, and as I have told you, we believe only in one dictum, that the sun rises even on Sundays. There is no Sunday for us. Remember. And we also believe in one dictum, that all holidays are holy days. And therefore, for the pursuit of education and for the cause of learning, remember, we'll be there with you, and we wish you all the best. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. We are all extremely grateful for your constant support and guidance.
Dr. Shilpa earned her BA with honors from Jesus and Mary College, Delhi University, and was awarded the Geeta Chopra Award for Outstanding Merit. She pursued her master's, MPhil, and did her doctorate from Delhi School of Economics, Delhi University. Dr. Shilpa Khatri Babbar is currently a professor in the Vivekananda School of Law and Legal Studies. She is the Director of Academic Excellence and Public Relations and Protocol at Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies, VIPS, and also serves as the Chairman of ICCSH, VIPS. I now request Professor Dr. Shilpa Khatri Babbar to introduce ICCSH, VIPS to the gathering.
Thank you so much, Vani, for this heavy titled introduction. Our beloved Vice Chairman was asking me that, why are you hesitant coming this side? Because the sense of belongingness is actually there. It is you who make us as teachers, and it is not these titles. So what made me feel special today was, as soon as I came down, and this entire gathering was around me, greeting me. Thank you so much for making my day. And in fact, this orientation will always be in my memory, because it's very precious to me. Yes, as chairperson of ICCSH, which, as the minutes read, I have been introduced as, so I would actually just read out what it is all about, because it's a legal parlance and somehow I'm not very comfortable with it. So the Internal Complaints Committee Against Sexual Harassment, which is in compliance with the directives of the Honorable Supreme Court, the judgment dated 13th of August 1997 in the case of Vishakha and others, it does speak about having a committee in an institution or an organization which has 10 members. And so do we. We legally comply with the rules and regulations, and I'm sure by now you are absolutely aware of the fact that we are a zero tolerance when it comes to any such kind of harassment, or for that matter, even discrimination. Well, I would like to reshape these acronyms for today, because you read all this and you're going to read it for the other 5 years. I don't stand here anymore as the chairperson of Internal Complaint Committee Against Sexual Harassment, but changing the meaning to the acronyms ICCSH, where I stands for internalizing, CC stands for collective conscience, and SH stands for self-healing. So when I string these words together, I request each one of you to internalize what our Honorable Chairperson just spoke about, collective conscience. Internalize this collective conscience, this sense of belongingness to each other, to this institution, with us. And believe me, that is the road to self-healing. Each one of us, I mean, whether it's been 18 years for you, whether it's been 40, 50 years for us, or even beyond, each one of us throughout our life have injured and have been injured. Some very bizarre, the others still a little healable. But I request each one of you to today sitting here take a pledge. Let your past not mar your future. What happened in your schools, or whatever happened at home, or maybe what you felt while you were on the roads with your friends, try to forgive, try to forget. Because if you're going to carry that, it's going to affect your making. It's going to affect the shaping of your persona. We are here with each one of you, for each one of you. However, we would want your fingers to come ahead, to come forward. And yes, these hands are robust enough to hold each one of you. So therefore, when we tell you to switch on your cameras and sit with us, it is not that we are insensitive to the bandwidth issues which are there in different territorialities, but the only reason is the connect. Past 2 years have actually distanced us from each other. We have been sitting in those four walls in front of those cameras for hours and hours. It's easier said than done that online it's very simple, you're working from home. And being the other side, I realize how painful it is when you are struggling from home. Because you are in a particular age where nobody will be able to appreciate you. I must admit, we have also gone through that age. When the parents feel that, yes, we have grown up and so should take up the responsibilities. However, they do not feel that we have grown up enough that we can make our decisions. So it's a dilemma that we all actually face through, and that's exactly the dilemma which I was facing when I came here, stumbling between our Honorable Chairperson, Professor Emeritus, our beloved Vice Chairman, and our Honorable Founder Chairman. I actually don't deserve this. I deserve to be right there. But then it is your warmth and it is their love and affection which makes us stand here. So please, dear friends, we would like to share that same warmth and sense of belongingness with you, to help you self-heal yourself, to help you stand up for yourself, to help you grow with us. But the only promise that you have to make is, you will have to make the move. Just one push to yourself, and with the precepts of Swami Vivekananda, we will always stand by you. God bless you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us here and for your constant support and guidance.
Professor Dr. T.V. Subba Rao is a former senior professor of law at NLSIU Bangalore and has been a resource person and trainer in over 100 seminars and workshops. He has successfully guided several PhD scholars thus far. He continues to be a beloved mentor and teacher to innumerable students across the country. we will now be addressed by Professor Dr. T.V. Subbarao, Professor Emeritus, VSLLS, VIPS.
Good morning, everybody. Why you are keeping quiet? Good morning, everybody. That should be the response. Highly respected, acclaimed, and admired Chairman of VIPS, Dr. S.C. Watts, erudite scholar, eminent academician with juristic orientation, chairperson of VS LLS, Professor R. Venkata Rao, efficient administrator with affable manners and sociability, a scholar by himself, Sri Sunit Watts, highly knowledgeable person, you have seen already, and prolific writer, Professor Dr. Shilpa Babbarji, efficacious taskmaster of the law school and a savant of international law, Dean of VSLLS, Professor Dr. Rashmi Salpekar, my highly learned colleagues, and my wonderful students. At the outset, let me congratulate you for opting to the course of law, that is number one, and opting for this reputed institution. It is not an exaggeration, my friends. I came here only after knowing about its reputation, otherwise I would not have come. It is a fact. One person who is singularly responsible for taking this institution to the highest pinnacle of success is Dr. S.C. Watts. The credit also goes to our learned colleagues, around 70 in number, my friends, for making this institution a very great institution. Friends, it is not mortar or cement that makes the institution. It is the committed staff, committed faculty that makes the institution very great. My friends, today, Professor R.V. Rao was reminding us, Legal Services Day we are celebrating. On this day, we have started our orientation program. Every one of you, you are having in your hand or pocket this preamble. Look at the preamble. What is the first goal of the preamble? We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political. Read it, my friends. You understand what is our task, what is our goal, value of the entire India. It is a constitutional imperative, my friends. It is a constitutional mandate as enshrined under Article 39A, read with Article 21, 14, with their expansive interpretation that we should extend legal services and this institution extends the same after the establishment of Legal Services Authority under an enactment in the year 1987, read with amendments in 1995, a modicum of justice is achieved. Not fully, not even substantially, as mentioned by Ambedkar, not even substantially you have achieved anything. If you want to achieve a particular thing, you will have to ensure first availability. Can you save my friends living in this society? Have we extended fully the justice? The second thing is access to justice. Actually, it is not approachable either in the terms of cost or either in the terms of awareness or distance for the people living in the rather Kanyakumari like that. So, accessibility, physical accessibility, is it there? Economic accessibility, is it there? Informative accessibility, is it there? How many of you know about the enactments and their ambit? You are not just a common man like, you have opted for a wonderful institution after going through the entrance test. Even then, do you have proper awareness? My friends, I am not going to rather talk much about this legal services and the other matters. Only thing is that even after 70 years of the Indian Constitution, my friends, we left in darkness, we have not achieved. It is up to you, the future generations, the generations which we claim we are with wisdom. We do not have, we did not achieve anything. Now we are having, rather handing over the same to you. It is up to you to achieve, my friends. Coming back to our task of the day, whenever I take this mic, I request them to rather spare some time more than the time allowed. Our taskmaster has given me time from 11:35 to 11:45. Is it justified? Shilpa Babbarji has taken 5 minutes from that. Okay. So, these unjustified restrictions, I will not obey. Agreed? Say yes or no. Now, my friends, why this orientation program? Why you should have this orientation program? Start thinking, my friends. Second thing is that, what is this teaching and learning paradigm here? Or you should adopt for yourself. And what should be your thinking process for the coming 5 years in the context of law? And lastly, how do you think that foundation for your career can be laid from this law school? I agree, my friends. Orientation program gives you sufficient background of the course in which you are admitted. That is a general thing. An amount of familiarity with the campus culture. The senior students who are standing, I don't think that from tomorrow onwards they will stand like that. They will first sit and then they will ask you to sit. They are all standing for you. They are showing you the seats. So that familiarity, ice breaking will be there in orientation program. It reduces in you the anxiety, participate in everything. Don't keep quiet. Don't keep quiet at any time. It is not for law persons keeping quiet in the laboratories. You should talk. You should come out with your opinion. Whatever you say that may be wrong today, tomorrow the same will be followed, and that is true even with regard to judgments. Yesterday's dissenting opinion may become majority opinion tomorrow. So don't bother about it, my friends. It gives you sufficient confidence. For that purpose, I accepted to speak on this occasion. It should give you lot of confidence, aplomb, to stand even in adverse circumstances and express yourself. That is another angle which I would like to tell you. My friends, our chairman often quotes, perhaps today also he wanted to quote that, but that opportunity I will take. He was expressing the opinion, if you speak, you will not leave anything to others. If you are speaking in the last, you will summarize whatever we say. So, now, what he was telling, often he quotes a Shanti mantra, Sahanavavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavaihi tejisvanavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahaihi om shanti shanti shanti. My dear friends, it is not related to a particular God. Both teacher and the taught, they pray together to extra energize them to reach the ultimate truth. So, from now on, the relationship between you and your teacher, it is more as a partnership one, rather than of having undue influence. Teacher is superior and you are inferior. Your contrast teacher, who is that here sitting, I think? Contrast teacher, first year teacher will start telling you about undue influence. If there is an agreement between the teacher and the taught, it is presumed that there is an undue influence. That is not the case in our culture. They are partners in the process of learning. Even on the last day of retirement, I learned certain things when I was teaching constitutional law. Even now, I will look into the latest opinions. My friends, you should remember that. It is a time to realize. First thing, duality was there in your thinking. When you were students of elementary school, primary school, whatever teacher says, whatever parents say, you agree whether it is right or wrong. Dual, right or wrong, over. The second stage, when you come to the high school, multiplicity. Even then you accept whatever the teacher says, whatever the parents say. Teachers will have eternal influence on you more than the parents with regard to these things, my friends. Now you have entered into another stage. The stage is that you are exposed to several things, multiple things at the same time. Whether they are right or wrong, on both the sides you are hearing, you will have to make a choice. First 2 years, you will not be able to make a choice, you will be listening. From 3rd year semester onwards, when you start knowing about the law of the land, automatically you will have choices. You will have personal choices, and that will be there throughout your life, my friends. So, think about thinking. Start thinking relevantly. It is also known as metacognition, that these things you need not worry about is this terminology. You must have that thinking process. These things which you are learning must go into long time memory. That does not mean rot. Memorizing, reading and memorizing like formula. It is not like that. But once you repeat, automatically it will go to your long time memory, my friends. That process you should start with right earnest now onwards. And that is another angle which I wanted to tell you. One more thing which I wanted to tell you, how do you mold your career? You will have, my friends, not one option. I would like to tell you one important thing. Take any other discipline. After some time, they may become obsolete, but law will not. The reason is that law is the product of the society. If there are two persons, automatically disagreements, dissensions will be there. And these dissensions and disagreements have to be resolved by adopting certain principles. Over a period of time, you will have law. So long as society is there, law will be there. So long as law is there, you are required. That is the advantage of your profession. You may be an advocate, you may be a judge, you may be a legal executive, whatever it may be. You should have necessary skills. Remember, when you are in primary school, your teacher or your grandparents must have told you about the story of rabbit and tortoise. What is that story? Rabbit and tortoise. What is the moral in it? Slow and steady wins the race. If you adopt that principle now, you will be slow and steady, but you will be attaining your old age without achieving anything. Here in that story, one more point which you should remember is that because a rabbit is lazy, it is lethargic, tortoise was able to win. Is it not? Are you able to follow, my friends? Last. Say yes or no. Yeah. Suppose rabbit is not lazy. It is not lethargic. It will not sleep in the middle till it reaches the goal. Who will win? Do you think tortoise will win ever? So, be like a rabbit, sans lethargy, sans laziness. It is a world of competent and competitive performance. It is not like our world. Now you are in the context of globalization. Whether it is good, bad or ugly, we do not know. After some generations only we will know. So what will happen if you are very slow in this competitive, competent performance is required and you are not speed enough? And then, with reference to indirect discrimination, I will also give another story which you have learnt in your childhood. What is that story? What is that? Stork and fox. Stork and fox. What is that story? What is the moral in it? This fox intelligently keeps the dishes, invites stork for the dinner, everything on the plate. On the plate. So there is a caution that I should stop. I will stop after telling this story. So, my friends, this stork was not able to take anything except rather wetting its thing. Then, as a retaliation, stork also calls fox, and the food is kept under in a jar. Fox was not able to take. So there will be opportunities, my friends. With reference to these opportunities, whatever it may be, you must be able to. You are not a stork, you are not a fox, you are a wonderful law person. You must grab the opportunity and take everything onto you. My dear friends, long back, I am completing within a minute, even though I have to say certain things. The credo should be update, upgrade, and enrich your knowledge. Lord Macaulay about India, once he has stated that under the sky, just 1 minute, if I were to ask under what sky the human mind has most fully developed, some of its choicest gifts, has most deeply pondered on the greatest problems of life and has found solutions, I should point out to India. Now we are pointing out to other countries. Macaulay said, I should point out to India. Rather not Macaulay, Max Muller. It is, my friends, we should be proud of our country, India, that is Bharat, and that is great. Thank you very much. All the best, my friends.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening words. I am certain that all the students look forward to being led by you in the best possible direction for their legal career.
Mr. Suneet Watts, Vice Chairman Whips and alumnus of Columbia Business School, Columbia University, New York, is a distinguished professional in the education field. He is the backbone of the institution and one of the primary reasons for its growth and success. I now, with a lot of honor and pleasure, request Mr. Suneet Watts, Vice Chairman Whips, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I am laudable and my voice is not as thunderous as what Professor Subbarao sir was. So my apologies in case I am not audible to people sitting at the back. Respected Chairman sir, he's the founder, not only the founder in terms of what you see here in the campus, but everybody who's present here is all because of his blessings and his vision, which he, kind of dreamt of in deeper Himalayas in the year 2000. Orientation is a very special day. Both professors sitting here, Professor Venkat Rao sir, Subbarao sir, I think they are epitomes of knowledge. Their humility is something which I would, in fact, would love to have it in my life all throughout. They always teach you something, as and when, you come across them, they are in that mode where you kind of learn so many things directly and indirectly with their influence. And their influence doesn't really stop, to these four walls that you see here, or to the institutions that they have belonged in the past also. Their influence is, as many alumni that have passed out, they are holding high positions now in Supreme Court, both as judges, as lawyers, and, eminent scholars and researchers all across this country and even abroad. So it's our, privilege to have them, both of them here. Dean ma'am, Dean Rashmi ma'am, she's always, as Subbarao sir has beautifully put it, that she's somebody who's hands-on, holding on to the team together. She is the glue, which is a common platform which takes everybody along with her. Dr. Shilpa Khatri Babbar ma'am, her academic profile, given the distinction that she holds and the kind of work that she does both at academic level and for NSS is commendable. and I think we need to learn a lot of things from each of us present here. Since it is an orientation day, I'd like to keep it very crisp, and for the reason because Chairman Sir has to leave a little early also. So I would like to bring out what this orientation is all about, what the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is, and that's a topic that I would like to it's closer to my heart now, since my subject is management stream. Students of law need to have cognitive diversity. And when I say cognitive diversity, it means that it's not just about studying your own subjects related to law, but then walking across, there are 5-6 different departments that we have now. The latest one being the engineering block that was introduced. So Internet of Things, Industrial Internet of Things, machine learning, artificial intelligence. There is enough law which has come in. The European Union, possibly in 2018, came out with a very detailed guidelines as to what should be the algorithm check should be. Because I don't know, I mean, sir have talked about traditional law streams. I'm more futuristic in terms of wanting to understand what these technologies would be all about and what the disruption is all about. So as Chairman Sir normally says, law governs from cradle to grave. There is no aspect of life which doesn't get touched by whatever we do in our interaction. Either it may be business interaction, human interaction, countrywide interaction, between different nations there are interactions which are happening at all the time. So cognitive diversity is what I would recommend, that you have to be prepared for this kind of flavor that you need to carry with yourself. Don't focus yourself, don't be narrow in terms of doing what you want to do as lawyers. I would give you one example. A parent walked in, was more keen on getting an admission into a BA LLB program. I was trying to push him for BBA LLB, to be very honest. The reason was, their thinking about BA LLB was that it's what is recognized, is more acceptable, but not wanting to understand there are negotiations which are happening across transnational companies which talk in those terms which are commercial in nature, and anybody who's a good lawyer needs to understand what those commercial terms are all about, what are mutual negotiation contracts which have been signed across those companies. So cognitive diversity is something which I would recommend, that keep reading as much as you can. People sitting here are epitomes of that. They have knowledge across domains. I would give you another example. Mathematics, does it scare you? I know it scares. People would not have thought about what mathematics will do in law stream. I can quote a lot of judgments, especially Supreme Court of US, and I'm not sure about Indian context. They have accepted, mathematical models to, come to conclusions about crime where evidence is lacking, and they do a probabilistic, analytic, kind of a thing where they are tried and understand what the crime would be. These 3 cases are, one was about, a nurse who used to work in a hospital. She, within her tenure and 201 shifts, that she attended, 24 people died under her supervision. And there was no direct association which was being made out. There was a mathematical, faculty which was called from a department of mathematics, who did the all probabilistic analysis of how probable it is for her to be the main accused. And court accepted that kind of evidence when it came out. Second was about a lady being robbed on a pavement, where they identified 2 of the eyewitnesses, identified what those people looked like, and doing a probabilistic analysis again, the police was able to comprehend and put bring them to law, because they could be as close as the probability of it was 98%, as high as that. So and there was defense which was saying, no, this is not the right way of doing it. But then my point is that this is how law has to, and people who are wanting to be practicing law here should know that there are tools which are available even in mathematics. Regression is one of the tools which has been accepted worldwide, and is acceptable as an evidence where people don't even know. Third case is about 2 parents, their child died in caught fire, the probability of which was 1 in 73 million. Fine. Ultimately, pointing out that yes, there was enough, evidence that you cannot rule out these to be the criminal, because that higher rate of probability means that only these two people can be, blamed for it. So this is how, mathematics plays a role. I don't know how many of you would be interested. 7 departments, as I told you, walk across those departments, I would say. Because legal aid is not about aiding, somebody who's under 2 lakhs of, income group or any other social group. But then it's about walking across, departments to understand what those streams are all about and trying to help them. So legal aid can be extended to other departments in terms of what those extensions can be and how meaningful, law can be. Collaboration. I don't know how many of you would understand this part, and I am saying this other than law. These are qualities that you would need to, possess, because law firms, their character is changing. There are law firms which are, kind of disintegrating given the world order that we are into now. What that means is that you need to understand what kind of collaborations you need to get into. Will that be permanent collaborations? Would it be a, project-based collaborations with experts which come from, multidiscipline areas, and, you meet for 2 hours and then you disintegrate into another team. So collaboration is another part. Negotiation and influence. I think whenever you walk into a courtroom, you are negotiating with the judges who are there. You are negotiating with a counterpart that is present, your adversary who's there. You need to have right kind of negotiation skills with you. And why is it important? There are tools which are available. Again, as I said, there is something called Zopa, there's something called Batna solutions, and these are things which are being practiced by very eminent lawyers, because it gives them that extra edge. Understanding law is within your grasp now, because anything is available on apps. Fine. So you need not, kind of rote learn into what the sections would be. That would be available to you, but understanding it by critically examining it and having those negotiation skills which will help you get a better negotiation for your case is something I would recommend that you should kind of join some kind of course doing that. There is something called distributive bargaining, which is part of negotiation again. Why distributive bargaining? Because there are multiple players when you are in a negotiation, like a scenario where you are in a courtroom, there are multiple parties which may be involved. You need to understand what each party is expecting out of the outcome. You cannot be selfish enough that I only should win and others should lose. You need to have that pragmatic outlook towards, understanding what people are and how much can I, part of compensation can, give the other party the leverage. These are very important skills, and I don't know whether you're listening, because I could have asked you to, kind of repeat morning, as Professor Subbarao sir said, to check on whether you are, attentive, not attentive. But then given the fact, I would place 2 more things now before you. One is related to IPR, another one is to copyrights. I hope you are all movie lovers, and that's where my, connect becomes better with students, because they understand what am I trying to talk about. Worldwide, if you see, there are, king of your franchisees which are related to, Iron Man and your Harry Potter and other things. These are, now becoming very real life, experiences which people want. So merchandising is becoming another big area in terms of, IPR and its violations. There were companies which were allowing this to happen, because if I would put Star Wars as one of the movie collectors, 8 billion was the collection by movie sales in terms of tickets. But then when it came to merchandising, they could gross in $38 billion. So merchandising is that, kind of, I'm just trying to, broaden your canvas. I'm not trying to, show you how fancy things can become. I'm more on the commercial side, so I would kind of take that up with you people, because that's how, the world is growing. IPL, the kind of matches, the ticketing that they, earn, they earn more from merchandising. Now the game behind merchandising is that if you start, people were earlier liberal in terms of whatever could go out. So if Harry Potter's people would have watched, there was a match which was done, which was called Quidditch match. 300 universities adopted it, worldwide, and they had their own version of that kind of match, which Warner Bros. Initially allowed those to happen because it was kind of, facilitating them and, helping them without to advertise their publicity was being done. Sooner they realized that, there is a revenue loss and a revenue leak there. And they started plugging in those. And that's how, it became, merchandising is now becoming some of the areas, because IPR people will only talk about medicines and other things and copyrights about books. But then these are areas which are commercially very, I would say still virgin in terms of its exploration. Second, when it comes to, again, I would go back to movies, franchisee models again, the gross, collections done by any of those franchisees is huge in numbers. I can't even tell you the numbers, because if you start counting the zeros that, possibly it accompanies, people are protecting, those rights now to the extent that, there are agreements which are facilitating that kind of an arrangement now. So, I mean, look at the canvas which is bigger than, criminal law or civil law for that matter. There is a world, waiting for you to be embraced, because I can see future jurists, judges sitting here right in front of us. As sir said, that's the future sitting here. So I think the future is here, the future belongs to you. The only thing is you need to broaden, as sir said, you need to broaden your horizons, you need to expand your knowledge base and get across. With those words, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I hope I have finished in time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening all of us here.
I don't know how to switch it on and switch it off. But how to switch off my mind, I know. And when to switch it on, that also I know. And the same thing that you need to learn is when to switch on your minds and when to switch it off. So your presence of mind during the class is of utmost importance. You learned, you heard an erudite scholar of eminence and a person who was the former Vice Chancellor of National Law School, Bangalore, for 10 years, a distinction which has been held only by Professor Venkata Rao. He was at the National Law School, and it happened to be an accidental meeting. I met him in a hotel and I requested him why should he not chair the School of Law and Legal Studies and WIPS. And it is thoroughly his kindness and his generosity and his affection and love that he agreed to be chairperson of the School of Law and Legal Studies. A very powerful speaker who was a tough exterior but a very tender heart, Professor Subba Rao. You must have heard his very powerful speech, loud speech. And when he speaks aloud, it means you need to hear. If you don't hear, he will make you hear in the classroom. So you had a flavor of all that. And the vice chairman added another flavor to it, that you need to be interdisciplinary approach to law. Law cannot live in isolation, and law has not to live in isolation. I know of two persons, two eminent persons whom you too would have heard. One was Mr. Arun Jaitley, who was the former finance minister of Government of India. He did his BCom honors from SRCC, and then it is law. And similarly, Justice Arjun D. Sikri, he also did his BCom honors from Shriram College of Commerce and then joined law. So people having interdisciplinary approach shall always have an edge in law and legal parlance. Professor Subba Rao, you heard just now his powerful speech. Professor Shilpa Khatri Babbar, who is more like a very tender, caring person, very human, and she will teach you all the human values which will stand you in good stead. Professor Rashmi Salpikar, who is the Dean of the School of Law and Legal Studies, who has authored a book on international law with Honorable Justice Shakda. There are people of eminence and all learned faculty members. Who are you? If I ask you a question, it's a very profound question. Who are you? Can you tell anyone? Anyone can tell who are you? I'm collectively asking, who are you? And where are you sitting? Any answer? Who are you and where are you sitting? So you will simply say your name and you will simply say you're sitting in Vivekananda Institute campus. Am I right? That's what going to be your answer. But must you know that you are sitting in the campus of a prophet and the pathfinder, Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda says you are no other than the Amritasya Putra. You are the children of immortality. You are all ordinary beings. ਸਰਦਾਰ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ ਜੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਿਆ ਹੋਏ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ ਹੋਏ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਿਆ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਦਾ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਹੈ ਤੂੰ ਕੀਰਤ ਕਰੋ ਵੰਡ ਛਕੋ ਜਪ ਕਰੋ इन तीन चीज़ें पर तो पता है टेनेट्स ऑफ सिख रिलीजन कीर्त करो वंड छको जप करो ये सब नूं सीखनी चाहिए है सरदार वास्ते नहीं है सिर्फ all people must learn to engage themselves in good deeds, must have a sense of charity and sense of philanthropy and this participative thinking. And it's almost a romance with charity. Each one of you must learn that. Professor Suvarao almost forbade me from speaking in Sanskrit, but I cannot refrain myself from speaking in Sanskrit because the words from Swamiji come in English. And they are very powerful words. Arise, awake and stop not. Utishtatah jagratah prapyavara nibodhata. Arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. So each one of you on this orientation day should be conscious of the fact that you need to arise from your deep slumber, that you need to keep yourself awake when you are attending a classroom, and you need not stop till you have acquired the degree of a law to enable yourself to practice or to sit on the bench to be a judge. I am proud to announce that there are 45 judicial officers who have passed out from this institution, and law is our flagship program. 45 judicial officers, 22 advocate on the court of Supreme Court, another 10 judge advocate general in the army. So that makes Whips Law School proud of its legacy. And then Swamiji says, Asto ma sadgamaya, tamso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityur ma amritam gamya. Lead me from darkness to light. Asto ma sadgamaya. Lead me from the unreal to the real. When you acquire knowledge, by sense of discrimination, you will be able to make a difference between good and bad. Asto ma sadgamya. Make me to discriminate between what is good and what is bad, what is uplifting and what is not so uplifting. Asto ma sadgamya, tamso ma jyotirgamya, mrityur ma amritam gamya. Lead me from the unreal to real. Lead me from darkness to light. And lead me from death to immortality. So that's what Swamiji's words are, and Swamiji still tells you you'll be nearer to football, you'll be nearer to heaven through the kick of a football than through the preaching of Bhagavad Gita. So be a very pragmatic, very realistic. People, you should realize that the strength lies in, as he rightly said it, I want you to have muscles of iron, nerves of steel, inside which dwells a mind of the same material as that of which thunderbolt is made. So he exhorted the youth that you should not blindly follow a religion. He should reason it out. As law students, you must reason it out whether there's a religion which leads me to ultimate goal of realizing the truth, and this is not the religion that leads me to my right goal. So he says, have sense of discrimination. Astoma sadgamaya tamsoma jyotirgamaya amritamma mrityurma amritam gamaya. Lead me from death to immortality. That's the power of any spiritual teachings, not the religion. Religion can never lead you to that. So law is nothing but righteousness, and we have written everywhere, you must have the right conduct, sense of duty and sense of responsibility. As a student, you will be required to have the right conduct, sense of duty and sense of responsibility. And then what we are shaping it into, you must be a perfect human. We are in the process, we are on a mission, we are embarked on a mission of man-making, character building, nation building, without which no nation can rise. We want this nation to rise to the pinnacle of its height, India to be recognized as a mighty power, both by virtue of its wealth and military power. If you want to see India great, then you need to be very keen readers. You need not be bunking classes. You should be fully attentive in the classes, because all these learned people, learned faculty members, they are there to teach you something. They are to give you guidance. They properly tell you as to how to be a responsible citizen of this nation. The preamble is nothing but it's all about responsible citizenship. Let's learn to cultivate responsible citizenship. And I shall conclude on saying, Sarve bhavantu sukhina. We have come out of a catastrophe. We have all come from a period of gloom. We were all lived in isolation. We were all quarantined for months together, for a year together. And today is the brightest day when we all can assemble in this open air and breathe fresh air. So I am reminded of another verse, Sanskrit verse, which says, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, Sarve bhavantu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasya dugha bhavet. Let's all be free from suffering. Let's all be free from all mental afflictions. Let's all be free from misery. And let's all live healthy life and lead a healthy body can only have a healthy mind. So all this wisdom comes to the vibrant words of Swamiji, who has condensed the entire scriptural wisdom into small phrases of Sanskrit. So with these words I will just say that I extend to you on behalf of the faculty members, on behalf of the learned chairperson of the School of Law and Legal Studies, Professor Subba Rao, Madam Rashmi Salpekar, Professor Rashmi Salpekar, Professor Shilpa Khatri Babbar, and on behalf of the Vice Chairman and Board of Management, I extend to you very, very hearty welcome, and I assure you that we shall leave no stone unturned in making you an excellent professional, and some of you may be judges, some of you may be senior advocates in the High Court and Supreme Court, and may God bless you all, and our best of blessings and good wishes with you, but no let up in your studies. From this day onwards, it's a lesson today. Watch out yourself that you don't let up yourself in studies. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening all of us here with your guiding words.
Professor Dr. Rashmi Salpekar holds a PhD in International Law and LLM.
Very good morning to you all. Very good morning to you all. Good afternoon to you all. So this is how we have started in morning, we are ending in afternoon. And very soon you will also realize you have started in 2021 and very soon 2026 will also come. Time flies like anything. So please have a control on your own time. On behalf of Vivekananda School of Law and Legal Studies, on behalf of our faculty members, I would like to express thanks to our respected chairman, Dr. S.C. Vats, our chairperson, Professor R. Venkatarao, respected vice chairman, Shri Sunit Vats sir, respected our Professor Emeritus, Professor T.V. Subbarao sir, our respected senior faculty member, Professor Dr. Shilpa Khatri Babbar. I would like to thank all of you that you have spared time for our dear students. Dear students, do you know why we all are here? Of course, for the orientation. What is the importance of the orientation? Orientation is setting tone for all your 5 years. And as sir has told you, that at present for 5 years you are law student of WIPS, but then you will be the law student for your entire life. Legal profession is a noble profession, so therefore it is also called as learned profession. So thus, we are having lot of expectations from you, and I am sure you must be having lot of expectations from yourself as well. So thus, orientation is all about setting tone. It is all about to get your instruments in tune. So this is the day of the orientation program. So therefore, this is very, very important for all of us and for all of you as well. So thus we thought that why not to invite our students in an offline mode. Very soon, you will be able to get your classes in offline mode as well. Of course, we will follow all statutory obligations. We will initiate in a phased manner also. So everything we will do for your safety purpose. But very soon, you will also be the part of this particular family, which you will find it is very academically vibrant. You are the part of this WIPS family, this law school family, wherein more than 2,000 students are there. We are having more than 70 faculty members. We are having more than 10 centers which are established and which are based on various subjects like Center for Constitutional Law, Center for International Law, Center for ADR, Center for Cyber Law. You will also be the part of all these activities. So thus, we all are here to give you best wishes, and I am extremely happy that you are fortunate that you have received blessings from our chairman sir, from our chairperson sir, from our vice chairman, from our Professor Emeritus and our senior professor, Professor Shilpa. So with this, thank you so much for be present over here. Thank you so much to our dignitaries as well. Thank you so much Dr. Aditi, who have coordinated this entire show along with her faculty members, Dr. Namrata, senior our faculty member, Ms. Ashu, Ms. Samriti, Ms. And many are faculty members who have also joined hands with Dr. Aditi. So once again, thank you so much. With this, I would like to call all of you to please rise for the national anthem. National anthem students, please be ready. Yes, one small one announcement, very important announcement. As you are our 21st batch, so therefore our chairman sir has given as a shagun of rupees 2100 to our students of Antakshara who have presented such a melodious Saraswati Vandana. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Rupees 5,000 for them. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank Antrakshar, the Centralized Music Society of WIPS, for glorifying today's orientation program with their soulful music. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We welcome you to the WIPS family. Hope you all have a great day ahead. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.